All right. Howdy, howdy, how you doing? It's been almost 2 minutes. I was just sending out the appropriate tweets and messaging some of the boys that maybe they'll pop into chat. Mm. Enjoying some yuan yang, some coffee tea. It's from Hong Kong. Well, the concept. Anyways, let's not priddle prattle. Hi. Yeah, this is basic and scuffed, I know. But I want to get back into the streaming game. And what better way than to get on the VTuber craze, right? So I just downloaded Vroid, made a basic model. I might, if I relearn how to use Blender, I'll make my own accessories for myself. So I'll put a hat on. I'll update this jacket. I thought I did pretty good with this design on the jacket. It was just a little wolf doodle. For those that don't know me, I'm Hattie Drago. I used to stream Magic the Gathering, Hex Shards of Fate, a bit of Yu-Gi-Oh, a lot of card games back in, oh my god, I think my last video was in 2014, 2015. So that was around when I was in university, before terrible things that I won't mention happened. But I'm back. I want to be streaming a little bit more regularly. I hope to maybe someday make this a full-time career type of thing. Maybe. But anywho, it's good to be back, and in a VTuber form. I really didn't actually like putting my face on the camera. I'm not gonna remove any of my flesh tuber videos. That would be too long and too dumb. So we're just gonna keep those there, and I'm gonna keep vibing as a VTuber. So main topic today. We're tomorrow and Tuesday. They'll be slowly revealing the deck lists for the 4 commander decks for Baldur's Gate. But we already have all the cards from the main set. Legendary creatures, fancy new spells, not so fancy spells that are mostly for the draft format. But everything in here is worth discussing in one way, shape, or form. So if anyone pops in and has a discussion point about any of the cards, I'll jump around. But I'm just gonna get on here started with going through this list of cards. Can I move this around and not mess things up? Oh, I can. Sick. Nope. Yeah. You can see my mouse though. I'm fine with that. Actually, I can I? Ayo? Ayo? I'm learning new things. Hey. Can I? No. Can I? No. Can I a little more? I think that is about as good as I'm going to get. Alright. So, I should. Cool. Right here, so that I can see chat, and I can have my VTuber model look where I'm actually looking at this card. Alright, so first off, we have our first legendary creature. I'm going to go in color order. I'm just going off of the main site. The main site, I assume, is open for use for this type of thing. I see Magic Mike's doing it all the time, so why not me? First off, we have one of our first background commanders. They did this thing for this set, similar to the original Commander Legend set, where for drafting, they had, in the original Commander Legends, for the draft formats, to make building a commander deck and draft easier, they incorporated the partner mechanic, which caused the cards to be a little troublesome and constructed, if we're being honest. Not as troublesome as the original partner commanders. But this time around, they limited how much that could be done without making it too, how we say, nerfed. So we have legendary creatures that actually let me pull up the one colorless card first to kind of explain this. So you can have a commander creature, and they're all monocolored, besides this one, and we'll get to this one. And they're all monocolored. The ones that have choose a background, and all the backgrounds are monocolored as well. So you could actually technically have a mono white deck that's just a mono white commander and a mono white background, if you so choose. I don't think there's any good combinations like that. I do have a Google Doc that I made that I have a list of all the combinations for the background commanders and their backgrounds and what they can potentially do, just to kind of see like what the best combinations are. I'm sure someone else is doing that too. Maybe I'll make that another video. I'll make that a video for tomorrow, perhaps. Because, Tuesday and Wednesday are going to be McGinshin days. Oh, my apologies. This cough tea is making me all sniffly. I hope my volume is okay. Actually, you know what? I'm just looking at that. I'm peaking a little bit. Let's lower me down slightly, perhaps. I probably should have had some background music here too. Yeah, I'm still trying to learn all this again, honestly. I was streaming on Twitch for the most part before. But I think YouTube's a little easier. I can just stream and the video is going to save right there. I don't have to worry about anything in regards to like re-uploading. Excuse me. Anyways. So we'll get to actual backgrounds in a sec, but Faceless One here, Gavin put out a video yesterday opening a box, and he put it very well. Faceless One solves a problem that could exist, but theoretically probably won't exist, which is not having the right color combination for the commander deck you want to draft. So when you're drafting in the commander draft format, oh gosh, is it too... I'm going to look this up real quick, actually. Baldur's Gate Draft Guide. Draft Guide. No, I'm not going to bother. I do know that you draft 2 cards, at least in the first pack. That usually ensures, because every single pack that I've seen, at least Gavin open, it had at least a legendary creature and a background in it. So there should be no universe where you're not able to draft what you want. But just in case you end up drafting good cards, but you don't have a commander in any of the colors, Faceless One solves that problem. It can either be your commander or it can be your background. Back to starting with the white cards. Abdel Adrian Gorian's Ward is our first background commander that we're talking about. A 5 mana, 4 colorless and a white pip. Human Warrior, 4/4. 5-drop 4/4, not bad stats. It's like average, right? You want a 5-drop 5/5 most of the time, but this is a 5-drop 4/4 with extra goodness, so it's fine. When he ETBs, exile any number of other non-land permanents you control until he leaves the field, and you make tokens. The tokens stay. The tokens stay no matter what. Until they get removed. So Abdel is really good for, I just realized something. I can move myself a little bit more here. Not be so in the way, just in case. I actually don't even know what chat looks like on this screen. We'll have to test that out. You're gonna see me talking in tangents to myself a lot. That's just part of my personality. Deal with it. So, Abdel is real fun. He is the type of card that we'll see what backgrounds he fits with, but as a commander, he wants to be blinking himself. He wants to blink himself, get a bunch of tokens, and get those tokens to swing. The tricky bit, I think the tricky bit here is wanting. Well, actually, essentially, he's a blink commander himself as well. I actually think he's kind of a better blink commander than Aminato, the Planeswalker one. And so you exile any number of other non-land permanents, and then you find some way to blink Abdul, and you get all those things back. And then Abdul comes back. And then all your things get blinked again, and then they'll come back. And you'll make more tokens. And Gavin was mentioning this in his video. I didn't finish the video. But he mentioned that there was a combo with a card, but they nerfed it. For good reason. Alright. This guy's solid. He's definitely going to go in the 99 for a blink deck. But if there's a really good background that serves as a way for him to start blink nonsense stuff, or the tokens, or help with the tokens, then he's going to be solid. I'm going to skip over like a good amount of the commons and uncommons and stuff. This guy, I'm not though. Me and my friend were talking. He's a big dragon fan. Like he has a 5-color or Scion of the not Scion. Just Dragon, the big, what's Eminence, the Eminence one. And he's always searching for new stuff. So this set fed that deck so well, you have no idea. And we were talking because this is the last one to get revealed. And we were like, oh, the blue one's super good. The black one's pretty alright. The red one is busted. And the green one was, it was okay. And we were really hoping that white wasn't terrible. And it's not. And all these dragons have the same trigger. They're flyers. Whenever you deal combat damage with it, you roll a d20 and you get a thing. In this case, it's a 7-drop 7/10, which is freaking bonkers. I want to say the closest, this reminds me of Zutulpa. Zutulpa is his name, I think. It's the big dinosaur that had a bunch of keywords in it, the big honkin' beater. So the stats kind of make me think of that. And it's a 7-drop. This is a 7-drop. And when you deal combat damage, you get a bunch of 1/1 blue fairy dragon creature tokens. Worst case scenario, you're only getting 1. That's still like 1 flyer that you can swing in and peck a dude. Definitely an interesting top end for any sort of flyers deck, I imagine. Any sort of token strategy. This is probably going to be interesting in Naya for Yetmir. I say this Yetmir wants to be smaller to the ground. Yes, sure. But you also got to have those big beat sticks. You also got to have, and Yetmir's in green. So he's going to be able to ramp very easily. Archivist of Ogma. This card's fine. Whenever your opponent searches their library, you gain a life and draw a card. This is statically good, actually. Holy shoot. And it has flash? 2/2's fine. I mean, it's gonna die to everything, but if it draws you at least like 2 or 3 cards before it dies, that's profit right there. And everyone's searching their deck for stuff. You got tutors, you got ramp, you've got tutors and ramp. There's plenty of cards that this will allow you to draw cards off of, and it's not as annoying as something like Esper Sentinel or Smothering Tie. Ascend from Avernus. My same friend, he's also obsessed with Planeswalkers. So he is hyped for this card. And I think this card's pretty good, actually. Return all creature and Planeswalker cards with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, and then you exile Ascend from Avernus. And so, example being, return for 3 white. If you somehow have a bunch of 0 mana creatures, which is possible. What is it? Cheerios is a thing. If you have a bunch of 0 mana creatures somehow in your grave, you're getting all those back. For 4, you're getting all your 1-drops back. For 5, you're getting all your 2-drops back. The sweet spot is definitely 6. You pay 3x, you have 3 white, and you return all of your 3 mana planeswalkers, which are usually some of the more busted planeswalkers in the game, mind you, and a bunch of 3-drops. Oh, I was getting so excited there, I was forgetting to breathe. So, the bit here, right? I'm going to put this whenever I get around to building my Gideon deck, which is going to be, commander-wise, it's going to be Kithian Eorus, the 1-drop, and it's going to have a bunch of Gideon planeswalkers in it, and one of the best Gideons is a 3-drop, and then a couple of the other best Gideons are all 4-drops. Plus, it also wants to be like a tiny, small guys attacking in, going in for damage, them all dying, and you bring them all back? Hell yeah. Common removal is common removal. Actually, this is worth mentioning. There's already a really good amount of removal in the game, especially for black. But white doesn't get a lot of just straight exiling things, right? And this is instant speed. Or like exiling a creature, I should say. Usually it's like you destroy an enchantment or artifact, or you deal damage to an attacking or tapped creature, or you destroy a tapped creature. That's usually white's gimmick. Okay. But they decided to put just straight up exile target creature on a white card. And the spell costs 1 less to cast for each opponent you're attacking. So this is going to be like an auto-include in the Myriad decks in any sort of aggro deck. My Gideon deck I was mentioning, Feather, this would be good in, because Feather, you're going to be wanting to attack all your opponents. What is it? Whenever I play, my 3 other players is usually the norm. So at best, and this is most of the time, at best, if you're deciding to attack 3 other players, you're getting this off for 2 mana? Hell yeah. Bane's Invoker, this is part of a cycle. It does reach all colors, the cycle. This is more for draft. Late game, you mana sink, and you get some good stuff. Not really worth mentioning. Although, if you want it for your Flyers deck, I guess you can try it. Banishment, this is a reprint, I do believe. Or I could be wrong. It might not be. But D&D wise, this is a spell. And pretty much, there's a bunch of character classes that can get banishment. Oh, I forgot to mention, I'm also big into D&D. So this is a double for me. I love this set. Flash, for 4, 3 colorless, 1 white. When it ETBs, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls, and all other non-land permanents your opponents control with the same name as that permanent until the banishment leaves the battlefield. Most of the time, this is gonna be tokens. You're gonna either exile something that's a real big problem, or you're gonna target a token. All the tokens will just go away forever, and you're left with just this being on the field, which is fine. Oh, you know what? This card will be amazing in the Adrian Blink deck, right? You blink this away, and you target something else with Adrian and leaves. Battle Angels of Tyr. Here's one of our fancy mythics. A 4-drop 4/4. Excellent stats. With flying and Myriad. And if you don't remember what Myriad does, it originated in the commander decks with the experience counters? No. Yes? Yeah. Because I think Blade of Selves was in the Boros one. It was like the only reason to buy the Boros one. What Myriad does, basically, you have one creature attacking. You get token copies attacking the other players as well, which is where that Astral Confrontation comes into play as well. It's all coming together. Which is also why, like, Battle Angels of Tyr. Sorry, moving around the mic. I don't know if that affects the sound or not. Battle Angels of Tyr. There's 3 angels in the art because basically you attack with 1, 2 more are gonna be going attacking. I love this. Flavor is freaking amazing on this. We haven't even gotten to the juicy block text. God. Realizing I'm like slurring my X's. Blech. Yeah. So whenever there's multiple different angels on the card. Whenever they deal combat damage to a player, draw a card if the player has more cards in hand than each other player. Then you create a treasure token if that player controls more lands than each other player. Then you gain 3 life if that player has more life than each other player. Which is interesting. So, if all the other players, each other player, that does include yourself. So, if everyone has the same amount of cards in their hand and has the same amount of lands in play, and then you gain 3 life, and if everyone has the same life, this does nothing. But it's after it deals combat damage. You'd have to be low on life yourself. Oh my god, this is gonna make combat frustrating. Hang on, how's my model doing? My model's fine. This is very good though. Like, angel decks, eat your heart out. Play it. Play it all the time. Do it. Do it. Angel decks do like the life gain theme, so the life gain part of this card may not trigger as much unless you're really behind. The getting treasures for lands is probably going to happen because white is not good at ramping. They're getting better. They're getting a lot of cards this set as well that helps with that. And then cards in hand thing, that's good. You get to fill up your hand basically. Beckoning Will-O-Wisps, it's fine. Beginning of combat on your turn, choose an opponent, creature attacking the last chosen player get. That's interesting. It's more for the draft format, but I could see this being played in some kind of budget deck. I probably don't need to go into all the adventure cards, but basically adventure is back from Eldraine. You can cast the card on its instant or sorcery side, and it'll enter exile, and you can cast the creature side later. And these just help, with deck construction, because basically, just like the modal double face cards from Zendikar, these count as a spell and a creature. This one's worth mentioning. More removal in white, and this is for 2. Exile target creature, and then you roll a d20, and they get some form of creature. Most of the time it's going to be the 2/2 boar, which is, solid stats, but it's probably not going to get in your way. Worst case scenario, they get a cow, which at that point is just, it's a Beast Within. And Beast Within is played everywhere. This is probably going to see a lot of play. Crystal Dragon, there's a bunch of dragons, they do the thing. Oh, interesting. The front half of this is probably not worth mentioning unless you're running a dragon deck and you really want dragons. Return target artifact, enchantment, or legendary card from your graveyard to your hand. That's probably not worth it. Maybe if you're mono white and you really need it. But even then you have more ways to do it. Cut a deal. More ways for white to draw cards, which is fantastic. White needs that. Cut a deal. 2 and a white. Oh, I have a game in the background doing stuff. Each opponent draws a card, then you draw a card for each opponent who drew a card this way. So everyone draws 1, you draw 3. If you're in a full table, that's great. I like that. Dawnbringer is a reprint, solid card for draft. Next. And we're on to our next legendary for the choose of backgrounds. Ellen. I'm going to say her name is Ellen. Ellen Harbreeze Busybody. 3 and a white for a human peasant. 2/4. Tap. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of tokens you created this turn. Put one of those cards into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So this is nice. I don't know if there's a background that actually... Well, there's plenty of backgrounds that help you make tokens. But I don't think there's any particular backgrounds that support this. This is going to be good. And it says just number of any tokens. Actually, this is going to be good in something, again, like Yetmir, which I do plan on building Yetmir. We're planning on making a bunch of tokens to get Yetmir's full effect out. But if you don't have Yetmir out and you need cards for your combos to work, you just go get them. And you just look at the cards and put the card in your hand. You don't even need to show your opponent anything. That's rare. That's good. I like her. Far Traveler. This is our first background. They're legendary enchantments. Backgrounds. And they're basically based in D&D. You know, what if... That was a good TV series on Disney+. Backgrounds in D&D are basically your background story. Your class is what you do. Your race is how you were born, basically. But your background is like what you did before you became an adventurer. And it's very in flavor, actually. Although I'm not sure some of the best combinations of these cards are in flavor. We'll get to one that I figured out. So Far Traveler is 2 and a white enchantment. And all of these cards, they don't do anything unless you have commander creatures out. These will be interesting in the 99 for partner commander decks, I think. Because you'll end up getting 2 commanders that have this ability. But we'll see where that's even good. Commander creatures you own have, at the beginning of your end step, exile up to 1 target tap creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. An important bit here is up to 1 target tap creature. It doesn't say other. So, if you wanted to do mono white Adrian, this could work for it. You tap Adrian for something, whether attacking or crewing something or tapping for some form of other ability. And then you use Far Traveler to blink Adrian away, get back everything Adrian had blinked, and then you bring Adrian back untapped. You exile more things, you get more tokens. That seems like a solid combination. Is it worth making this your commander in the draft format? Absolutely. I think this is pretty powerful if you get enough good other white cards. But as in commander in general, I don't think it's worth it. Next background, we have Flaming Fist, which these are like the military branch of Baldur's Gate. So very in flavor for this background to be here. And 2 and a white for commander creatures you own have, when this creature attacks, it gains double strike until end of turn. Obviously, this should go on the legend that is either caring about attacking itself. It has to attack. It itself has to attack for this thing to trigger. Um, this could also be interesting in a Voltron commander deck. Oh, you know what I was thinking? I hate this. I hate this commander I'm about to mention, but Zur the Enchanter. Zur the Enchanter is a world-renowned commander that whenever I forget what the trigger is for him. I think it's when it attacks. Or is it upkeep? I don't remember. But he goes and gets enchantments and brings them onto the board. Usually I would face this opponent that he would just play stacks with Zur the Enchanter, and it was the worst. But a lot of people tend to go Voltron with it. And so this is probably actually good in Zur the Enchanter. You are all welcome if someone comes across this video to talk about how wrong I am with some of my takes. Because I need to play more physical commander. I've been holed up for too long. Trapped in the library, as it will. Stuck in the abyss, if you will. But no, this seems like a solid choice for Zur the Enchanter. Get double strike when you attack. For the, not the stacks version, but the Voltron version. This is just a common 2 and a white 2/2. This will be good for the blink. Whenever another creature you control leaves the battlefield, it doesn't say the accursed whenever one or more blank. So it counts, this one counts every single creature that leaves. So, Adrian, right? Adrian is becoming better and better as I talk about him, as every single one of these cards pops up. Adrian comes in, or say Flaming Fist is out. Adrian comes in, you exile a bunch of creatures, except Flaming Fist, and you put a bunch of counters on Flaming Fist, and you get a bunch of tokens. That is really good. I don't know if it's good enough for constructed commander. Why am I saying constructed? It's probably good enough for casual commander. I play in more of the like maybe high casual. I play against a lot of high casual players. Not CDH. I'm not CDH. I play against a lot of high casual players, but I'm like right around just below that. And like, I would maybe see this card in decks like that, but this could make it into a casual build. Githzerai Monk. He is a Gith. Gith are a race in D&D. 4 and a white for a 3/2 flash flying, which is fine. Psychic defense. Enters the battlefield. Tap all creatures you don't control. Ooh. Ooh. That's a little spicy, actually. You do this before someone's attack step when you think someone... You have to do this before someone declares attack. So you can tap their things down. Which is one of those very newbie mistakes to make. Dang. Wow. I really got the air in my lungs, huh? This is fine. It's 5 mana though. That's the bit that keeps this as just like a draft thing and not anything else. 'Cause 5 mana, you're only a little bit away from some of the most powerful like removal in the game. Mass removal in the game. So, no thanks. No thanks for constructed, but like draft, probably an all-star. Goliath Paladin. He is a giant. Goliaths are, in D&D, they're like 7 feet tall. So, giant is appropriate. They have giant's blood. They're like the smallest forms of giant, but they're pretty much humanoid. If you've watched Critical Role in any capacity, the first season of Matt Mercer and the crew going through it, or if you've seen the animated, Grog is a Goliath. When Goliath Paladin ETBs, take the initiative. which is a new thing they come up with. It is Monarch, but you venture into dungeon. Very specifically, you only venture into the Undercity because they didn't want to make any of this busted. But of course, if you already started entering a specific other dungeon, you finish that one first. And then the initiative, basically... Actually, I would have to see the reminder card again. I forget when the trigger is, but I think it's at the end step you venture, but I don't remember. Common greatsword, creature attacks, counter on it, and tap a creature down. That's pretty solid limited card. I don't think that makes it to the constructed though. Not the best sword. Hold on. I'm muted, but from my physical reaction, you might have been able to tell I was coughing. Voice is really dry. Hold up. I love how my model reacts to me drinking. I placed my camera perfectly. Continuing on, we have Guardian Naga, which has a lot of people excited just because it's a actual accurate depiction of Nagas. They're always villainized, but Nagas in like Hindu mythology are actually pretty chill. Pretty chill dudes. As a card, it's fine. It's just enchantment artifact removal on its adventure side, and then it's a nice card. Oh, as long as it's your turn to prevent all damage that would be dealt to Guardian Naga. That's pretty nice. 7-drop, 5/6. But you would rather have that dragon. Guiding Bolt, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. Which is, this is nice. This is fine. We've literally come across removal. It's way better than this though. But this is a spell. This is a cleric first level spell. I ended up looking this up. Correction, I already knew this was a cleric spell. I ended up looking up that it was first level. I wanted to make a list of like what spells go to what class. Hammers of Mirrodin. This is another Myriad card, and here's the reminder text. Whenever this creature attacks, for each opponent other than defending player, you may create a token that's a copy of this creature that's tapped and attacking. Exile the tokens at the end of the combat. Basically what I said before. You attack with the one at one player, you get tokens that attack the other players, and the tokens leave later. Whenever Hammers of Mirrodin. Hammers of Baldur attacks for each opponent, tap up to one target creature that player controls. Definitely draft. Just draft. Although, maybe if there is a Myriad constructed deck, this would probably make it because it inherently has Myriad. And there's usually always a commander. Well, each commander is going to have at least one threat that you want to tap down. Horn of Valhalla. So this is a fun one. So this is a magic item in the game, in the Dungeons & Dragons. And what the Horn of Valhalla does is that you toot toot on the horn, and there's 3 different kinds of horns. Depending on what kind of horn it is, you get different things. I want to say because of how this Ysgard's Call, you're only making 1/1 shoulder tokens. But it is X 1/1 shoulder tokens at sorcery speed, which is pretty interesting. But I'm assuming that this is the lowest level version of the horn, because I forget what each one actually makes. But on the other side, you equip it, and the creature gets +1/+1 for each creature you control. So you put this in Yatmir, you make tokens, and you equip this onto one big beater, and you win the game. Great. This is the card that Gavin was talking about that comboed with Adrian, but they added non-warrior, so it doesn't do it anymore. When it ATBs, exile up to one target non-warrior and then return it. Oh, it blinks. Right, that's why it combos, because that's why it used to combo. Adrian in another universe, if he wasn't a warrior. ETB, Exile the Icewind. Well, no. Adrian exists. Icewind, ETB, Exile Adrian, Blanket, back. And they just do that over and over. Inspiring Leader, our next background. This one could also be good on Adrian, but again, you kind of want to diversify your colors. But this has commander creatures you own have creature tokens you control get +2/+2. This basically just makes your commander an intangible virtue, which back in the heyday of back when I played Standard in Innistrad, intangible virtue was really, really good. And it's still really pretty good for commander token decks. And this is only one more mana than intangible virtue. And it'll just hang out on the field, and all you have to do is cast your commander, and all your tokens are solid. This is in contention for being in my Gideon deck. It would be on flavor, at least. The funny thing about this is that during my hiatus of this channel, one thing I did, I was a game designer. Or not game designer, I'm sorry. No. That's pretentious of me to say. I was a game tester for Pillars of Eternity, Deadfire, the second one. And this art is just exactly one of the characters in the game. A farmer that became a leader of a community. That's funny. Oh my god, why am I coughing so bad? Ugh. I need to at least get up through the white cards. But yeah, no, this card's solid. I think it makes it into the 99 for commander decks that have a lot of tokens. I think it makes it into Riss the Redeemed for sure. Because Riss is so cheap to bring out. Lae'zel, Vlaakith's champion. One of the companions from Baldur's Gate 3, the game. 2 and a white for a 3/3 Gith Warrior, and she's one of our background ones as well. If you would put one or more counters on a creature or planeswalker you control, you put one more. So it's basically Hardened Scales. She is Hardened Scales. Which is nice. Which is nice to have on some form of commander. I actually found a pretty good combination with her, and I don't think we'll get into it this video, because I feel like I'm going to stop this at some point before we get to green. But Master Chef. Master Chef is the background that you should pair with Lae'zel. Because what Master Chef does is actually I'm gonna skip to it. We all remember where I am. Up there. Master Chef. 2 and a green. God damn it. 2 and a green, Master Chef. Commander creatures you own have this creature enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it, and other creatures you control enter the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on them. So, you bring this out. Lae'zel, I think. Wait, I have to look at Lae'zel again to see if she counts herself in that. But basically, whenever with Lae'zel and Master Chef out, every creature that's coming into play gets 2 +1/+1 counters on it. That's insane. Well, maybe not insane in the membrane insane, but it's a pretty good combination. So, at least for draft, that seems like one of the best ones. Oh, it does include herself. If you would put one or more counters on a creature or planeswalker you control, or on yourself. We'll get to that in a sec. But to put one or more counters on a creature, Master Chef, you play that first, you bring Lae'zel out, she's now a 3-drop 5/5. That is so good. And then everything else has two additional counters on it. Ah. if I see that in my opening pack, I'm drafting it immediately. Next up, we have one of a cycle of cards. Lazelle's Acrobatics. 3 and not white for an instant. You exile all non-token creatures you control, then roll a d20. That seems like a bad thing, but hold on. You either return those cards on the battlefield under their owner's control at the beginning of the next end step, so like a slow blink. Or you return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control, then exile them again, and then return them again at the beginning of their owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. Basically what this does, what you use this with. You use this to save your board. Especially if you're in a blink deck. This is like a budget Teferi's protection. A very budget Teferi's protection. You save all your creatures, and if they happen to have ETB effects, and you get, honestly, most of the time, probability wise, you're gonna get the better side. They leave, they blink in with an ETB, they blink out, whatever removal was happening happens, and then they all come back at the end of the turn. Solid card. I think this goes in so many decks that want to protect their board. This will be going in my Gideon, this will be going in my Feather, this will be going in my Yetmir. I forget what other white decks I have planned. Legion Loyalty. This is a very big costed card, but for good reason, because I think if this was any lower cost, it would be too good. Legion Loyalty. Creatures you control have Myriad, which is just absolutely bonkers. Like, I'm thinking about my friend's Yetmir deck. Yes, we both built Yetmir. I'm thinking about my friend's Yetmir deck, and he always builds his decks to be able to ramp as fast as possible. And Yetmir has access to Mirari's Wake, which doubles your mana. It also has access to, what is it called? Zendikar Resurgence, which doubles your mana. Either one of those being out, and you can get this out for 4 mana. 4 mana. That's not that big of a deal. So, in a deck like that, if you're running green-white, this card is very this card is very, very playable. It's a little tough to put it in a mono-white deck, unless you have as much ramp as physically possible. It's pretty tough to put in a red-white deck, unless you ramp as much as possible. But I think Naya is a good home for it, depending on what the deck is. Like, if it's a Naya go white deck, I think this goes in. Lulu! I love it. I want to know the lore behind this elephant, like, immediately. So, Lulu, the loyal Holyphant. I'm going to assume it's a she. She is a 3 and a white, 3/2 elephant angel. Oh, it's so cute. It's better than Fildegriff. Flying at the beginning of your end step, if a permanent you controlled left the battlefield this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on each tapped creature you control, then untap them. Nice. So it's giving vigilance. It's giving pseudo vigilance to your board, which is nice. And it's giving them all counters. But the caveat is you have to have a permanent you control leave the battlefield. So you get a bunch of cards from, like, Aether Revolt that cared about revolting. You get a bunch of ways to blank. You get a bunch of ways to bounce. If there's... This is probably going to be doing well with... I don't know if there's a blue background that helps blink or anything like that, or help bounce. Actually, I think there is one. Probably gonna be good with that. We'll get to those, I suppose, in a bit. So Lulu definitely has potential. Martial Impetus. They reprinted all the impetus. So these got a reprint of the cycle. They're good for their draft. The draft. Unless your deck is somehow dedicated to this type of nonsense, I would not put this in your deck. Not whatsoever. I don't even want to read it. Minimus Containment. This is a reprint. 2 and a white for an enchantment aura. You enchant a non-land permanent and you make it a treasure token. That's it. It's very similar to I forget all the names for the cards. There's a couple of green cards that do this exact thing. There's one that turns a creature into a forest. There's one that turns your creature into a stag. That's not Oko. There's one that there's a ton of cards that do this. These are fine. Noble Heritage. This is our rare white background. There is a cycle of rare backgrounds. Well, the backgrounds, technically, there's like 5 in each color. There's 1 rare, 3 uncommons, and one common. So the rare one here is pretty wild. Commander creatures you own have, when this creature enters the battlefield and at the beginning of your upkeep. So this thing is always going to be online. It's not just based on the ETB. Each player may put 2/1/1 counters on a creature they control. For each opponent who does, you gain protection from them. Okay, this was different than I thought. Interesting. I read this wrong the first time. And then protection from a player means you can't be targeted, dealt damage, or enchanted by anything controlled by that player. So if anyone's running the Lind Curse deck, then that means, haha, no. They will put the counters on their things. No, they won't do it. That's interesting. And I think the Lind deck doesn't have a lot of creatures anyway. See, the way I thought this worked was you put 2/1/1 counters on a creature the way I thought this worked, each player chooses a creature on your board to put counters on, and if they don't, protect. But interesting. Interesting. This will be fun. This will be a fun card. Does it go in the 99 anywhere? I wonder. I think that's the big one here. Is it good enough? I don't know. Maybe for a group hug deck? Like, I cannot pronounce it, but the Gay Lovers one. Which, shout out. I love that card. Well, I don't love the card. I wouldn't build a deck of it, but I love that it exists. Pegasus Guardian, it's okay. It's common adventure fodder for the draft. You can blink with it, which is a big thing in this format. And at the beginning of your end step, if a permanent that you controlled left the battlefield this turn, that works with Lulu, you make a Pegasus token. Which is nice. And that's at the beginning of your end step. It's very interesting to have a common rando creature have an effect like this. Here's I think this is the last white legend. His name is Rasad in Bashir. 2 and a white for an 03 monk. And he's 03 because he's really a 3/3. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness. Yay! And whenever he attacks, if you have the initiative, double the toughness of each creature you control until end of turn. So, just joking. He's technically a 6/6. Lol. I like him. We'll have to find the right background for him. One that comes to mind is Raised by Giants. Having Rasad and Basir be raised by giants and be a base level 10/10 would be absolutely fantastic. And he would double his own power, so he would go to 20, and all you would need is like maybe like a counter, like a +1/+1 counter or two on him, and he would be able to strike lethal on someone like immediately. That's amazing. I like that. So, yeah, at the moment I think Raised by Giants until I start reading other backgrounds, Raised by Giants is the best one for Rasad. For sure. Recruitment drive! Recruit to the army! 2 and a white for a sorcery. You roll a d20. You either get 2 1/1 soldiers, which makes it just a slightly upcasted Raise the Alarm, or the middle scenario, 2 2/2 white knights, which, if anyone remembers original Dominaria, like the original Dominaria from 5 years ago. From 5 years ago, the 20th anniversary. Thought I saw a bug. From 20 years ago, there was the sagas, when the sagas first started, there was the enchantment, and it was I forget what it was called. But it ran the standard format for like forever. And basically it just gave you 2 white knight creature tokens, and then you build knights, and it was great. Also, this is potentially good in the knights deck, in like knight commander decks, because it gives you it most of the time, probability wise, will give you at least 2 2/2 white knights. And if it doesn't, it's giving you fodder for something else. Best case scenario, you roll that nat 20 and you get 3 2/2 white knight creature tokens for 3 mana, which is insane. Usually for 3 mana, you're getting like 3 goblins or something. Alright. Rescuer Twinga. He's a Twinga. I at one point ran tried to run a campaign of Tomb of Annihilation with some of my friends. Back in California, though that was very fun, and I forget if we ever had the Twingas show up, but the Twingas are Twinga. It's such a fun word to say, Twinga. But is this Twinga even good? Well, he's a bear with flash. Twinga bear with flash, with the big Chungus rabbit. Natural shelter. When he ETBs, you may bounce another permanent you control to its hand. Hey, look at that! This is a card for Lulu. So if you're drafting and you draft Lulu, you gotta get the Twinga. Oh my god, that's so funny to say. If you draft Lulu, you gotta draft the Ching. I'm having too much fun. Even though I'm not really discussing. Oh, I wish I had a chat. I wish I had someone talking to me. Oh, it's sad. What's sad? Anyways. Roving Harper. Continuing the good fight of giving white draw. Giving white card draw. ETB draw a card. You play this. You play this if you're mono white and you have no other way of drawing cards. Unless you're like you play this in casual. You don't play this CDH, I don't think, because they already have like a million ways to win on turn 4. But this is fine. This is a good card. This is a good card for definitely budget commander. Scouting Hawk. Yeah, 3-drop 1/1 Boyd. You fly. And there are birds in the set that don't fly, so that's important. Keen Sight. He ramps you. If an opponent controls more lands than you, which is the white ramp way, you get some basic planes. So continuing the good trend of giving white some variant of ramp. But yeah, no, white is getting fed this set. They got multiple ways of ramp. They got multiple ways of card draw. And they got a good amount of politicking things. I like it. Now, if you don't mind real quick, before we talk about this next one, I'm going to check. That didn't mess up anything, did it? No. Okay. I'm going to check this real quick. This Facebook. Who the hell's talking to me on my Facebook? Someone just liked my thing. I invited some of my crew to come up to like be in the comment section or in the chat so that I could talk to them about this. Like, dang. Sage. Anyways, Sculpted Sunburst is a sorcery that's 3 colorless, 2 white. Oh, this is one of those wordy bullshit ones. Choose a creature you control. Then, each opponent choose a creature they control with equal or lesser power. If you choose a creature this way, exile each creature not chosen by any player this way. Why is it worded like this? Choose a creature you control. So you're forced to do that. Why does it say if you choose a creature this way? If you're forced to do this. What? This is like, okay, it's not as bad as Langra. It's not as bad, or Ligera, or I forget her name. The magpie from New Capenna, who no one could understand what she did. Choose a creature you control. What's the closest creature we have? Oh my god, no. Let's pretend it's Pegasus Guardian. I guess no. I'm trying to choose. Oh, how big is Lizelle? Okay, let's go with Lizelle. Let's say the creature is a 3/3. Right? Right. Let's theoretically say we're choosing Lizelle. Choose a creature you control. Okay. Then each creature chooses a creature they control with equal or lesser power. So, equal or lesser. So they would have to choose a creature with 3. No. Okay, you choose Rasad. You put this in Rasad. In Rasad Bashir. Each opponent chooses a creature they control with equal or lesser power, which in Rashad's case would be 0. 0 power. If you choose a creature this way, exile each creature not chosen by any player this way. I think I'm gonna go through the release notes at some point, because I want to make sure that that's like, if your opponents don't have legal targets when you choose something, I'm going with, probably what they intended is that you choose something that's super low power, and then you exile everything else. Wait, and then if you choose a creature this way, exile each creature not chosen by any player this way. I hate it. It's just really bad board wipe. Like, no one's gonna replace Wrathic God. Like, what do game nights say? Game nights always say, like, you should only be running like 3 or 4 board wipes, because you really should focus on more targeted removal things, because you're wanting to try to get rid of like one player's real big bad combo. But like, even in mono white, this isn't even the best board wipe. This is worse than like tragic arrogance. I hate it. I guess the 5 mana is like the one reason to run this, but Doomscar exists. Oh. I remember talking to a friend and saying like there was no bad rares in this set, but I was wrong. I mean, it's not bad. I just don't like it. Speaking of more board wipes that make you choose shit. Oh shoot, I swear. I swore. Or no, I don't have censors. It's fine. This I don't want this to get monetized. Anyways, Slaughter the Strong. Each player chooses. This is a reprint from Ixalan. But it's a good card for the set. Each player chooses any number of creatures they control with total power 4 or less, and then sacrifice all the other creatures they control. So, I guess it's technically a worse version than this. Each player chooses any number of creatures they control with total power 4 or less. Again, in the Rashad and Bashir deck, who I think he's becoming one of my favorite cards. In Rashad, you can choose Rashad and then continue to choose like 0 power things and save all of them. Eh? Yeah, I like it. It's definitely good for draft. Steadfast Unicorn! Because we gotta have a unicorn in this set. 1 white, 1/2 unicorn. And it's a mana sink for draft. That's it. I wouldn't play this in constructed. It just is not good enough. Stone Skin! This is a spell. Usually, like, druids get it. I think wizards and sorcerers get it as well. Certain clerics, I think, get it as well. I don't know if Ranger gets it. It would make sense because they're so nature-based. Anyways. Oh, another card for Flash. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +0/+10. So, you draft Rashad Bashir. You get raised by giants. You get raised by giants. You attack, and you're already hitting them for 20. And if that wasn't bad enough, you give them +0/+10, making them already a 20. And so now you're hitting them for 40. Okay, this is pretty good. I think this... It's only 3 mana. It's Flash. I'd have to actually know a player that plays, like, Doran the Siege Tower or any of the, like, butt commanders to know if this will see play. But I think it's worth it. I like it. Tabaxi Toucaners! Flavorfully what this is. So, I want to say these guys, the Toucaner themselves, the Tabaxi Toucaners, they're from the Isle of Chult, which is where the Tomb of Annihilation was based. It's basically like the tropical jungle island area of Forgotten Realms D&D. And, you know, this is just a 5-drop 3/2 Myriad. And evasion is very important because of the initiative in this draft format. This card's solid. Again, I really love my animation when I drink. It was not really an animation. It's just my model glitching and it looks good. But, you know, this is fine. This is fine for draft. Would it go in a constructed casual red-white Myriad deck? Yes, probably. Would it go in what I perceive to exist is a Naya Myriad deck? Maybe not. I don't know. Underseller Sweep. 4 and a white enchantment. ETB, you get initiative. Whenever you attack, if you or a player you're attacking has the initiative, you make soldier tokens. Tapped and attacking. Okay. Interesting. Cool. This is more for draft than anything else because you have to be, like, very dedicated to the initiative deck to be playing this card. And I don't think that that's casual. Well, casual, yes. High casual, probably not. Veteran soldier is our last white background. One and a white. And your commander creatures have, whenever this creature attacks a player, if... Oh, right. When I was making my notes in my Google Doc about all the combinations, which I still haven't gone through all of them to see what all the combinations are yet. But I made notes of like what each background did, and there's pretty much just a cycle. I think they're all uncommon. Yeah, they're all uncommon. That are basically dethrone, except they do something else. Excuse me. But basically, whenever this creature attacks a player, if no opponent has more life than that player, dethrone. For each opponent, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token that's tapped and attacking that player. So that's interesting. So long as you're attacking the king, the monarch, the person with the most, not the monarch, the person with the most amount of life, you are going to get, in a 4-player game, 3 tokens tapped and attacking that player. And all it costs is your commander attacking. So the only commander we've run into so far that actually cares about attacking is Rasadun Basir. But we are only in white. We got a lot more to go. So if I'm thinking about the backgrounds real quick. So the Far Traveler blinked a tapped creature, which kind of cares about attacking, but not really. We have the Fire Fist, which has the thing care about attacking, and might be good in Zurin the Enchanter because it gives double strike to the commander that's attacking. We have Noble Heritage, which is very kind of politicky in a way, because it's either, hey, you can make one of your creatures bigger, or, and if you do, you can't do shit to me. Wait, actually, you know what? Can we go back to Noble Heritage real quick? Is it for the turn? Or is it until your next turn? Oh. So, basically, wait, you can't. You yourself. Your board is still up for grabs, though. So you're still going to get wrecked by removal. You're still going to get wrecked by -1/-1 things. You're going to get wrecked by board wipes. Noble Heritage is interesting. It has to work with something. Veteran Soldier is interesting, though. Probably not for the Voltron commanders. White Plume Adventurer, a rare. When it ETBs, you take the initiative. And at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, untap a creature you control if you've completed the dungeon, and untap all creatures. Wait, no, sorry, I'm mixing my sentences. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, untap a creature you control. Cool. If you've completed a dungeon, untap all creatures you control. So this is basically if you complete a dungeon, if you're the dungeon deck, this is another like Seedmorn Muse, or I don't remember what the Neon Dynasty one was. Neon Dynasty? Neo Kamigawa one. I don't remember what that card was called. Bellow or something. But it was from the white blue commander deck in the Kamigawa set. So this is basically another one of those. Less good because it's only creatures, but it's fine. Windshaper Planetar. I know, what's her name? Oh my god, I'm gonna forget all my Twitter, none of them are mutuals. I want them to be. This is why I want to make more content, because I want to make more friends. That's my ulterior motive. What is her name? What's her name? I'm not gonna look it up. But there's a girl. Girl? Wait. I hope I'm not misrepresenting their pronouns. I'm gonna say they. They're really obsessed with angels, and I can appreciate that. And they're so like hell bent on discovering all of the old angels and the new angels. They were really heartbroken about old Capenna or new Capenna, and the unfortunate grinding of angels into dust. Anyways, Windshaper Planetar is a good angel. 5 mana 4/4 for a flash flyer. Solid stats for something that can flash and fly. Enters the battlefield during ETBs during the declare attacker step. For each attacking creature, you may reselect which player or planeswalker that creature is attacking. So basically, this has to be before blocks. So let's say Charlie over there. Charlie with the Yetmir deck, because that's popped up about 20 times in this conversation already. Charlie with the Yetmir deck is about to kick your face in with all their tiny little dudes that are not so tiny anymore. And you'll just like, how about no? And you flash this guy in, and you're like, how about they all go at the other guy instead? Yeah? And you kill them instead of you. If you have a way to bounce this to your hand, which is very possible in the draft format here, apparently, oh man, using this every turn to just get all but one opponent dead, and you have probably stalled long enough to be able to save yourself. Huh. Alright, and then I think there's a couple more. Next we have Worms Crossing Patrol. 1 white, 1/1 Myriad. Garbage. That's all I can say. It's fine. It's fine. It has 0 evasion though. It's garbage. I'm gone. Your temple is under attack. As a former dungeon master, this pleases me to just say the names of some of these cards. Your temple is under attack. 2 and a white for an instant that you either pray for protection. Neither of these things are what this character in the card is doing, by the way. You either pray for protection. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. Very solid. Very good card. Basically, if you care about having a big board of creatures, and if you're running things like Boros Signet, Teferi's Protection, well, I mean, if you're too cheap to get Teferi's Protection, like me, I don't have the card. This is one of those great alternatives to that. Because your creatures are your most important asset in a creature-heavy deck. So protect them all. Heroic Intervention is another one. That one's a green, but, same deal. So Pray for Protection side is very solid. And then the Strike a Deal one, you and target opponent each draw 2 cards, is fine. Gavin was saying, I really should have finished this video so I had more anecdotes. But he was saying, like, a fun way to use this card is, basically... Ooh, I'm about to yawn. It's only like 3. Why am I tired? I'm drinking coffee. That is also tea. How am I tired? It doesn't matter. But basically, at the end of someone's turn, if they have a full clutch of 7 cards in their hand, you have yourself and them draw 2 cards, and they have to auto discard 2 cards. So you're just screwing over their hand which is fantastic. And then you're confronted by robbers. 3 and a white. Choose one. Stall for time. Tap up to 3 target creatures. Okay. Call for aid. Create 3 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. This is not good for constructed EDH. No. Do not play this card. There are so many better cards. In draft, though, go for it. Like, this, it's instant. This has interactions with some blue cards that we'll get to. Or at least one blue card that I know of that we'll get to. So, in draft, solid. In constructed, forget about it. Alright, and that's all the white cards. Gosh, I don't want to make this a 5-hour video. It might turn into a 5-hour video. So perhaps what I'll do is maybe go through blue now, see how I'm feeling, see if I can do this faster in blue. And then tomorrow at some point, I'm gonna go through the rest, or at least the black, red, and green. At least go through the black, red, and green. And then on another day, I'll go through the multicolored and colorless. And then by then, we'll have our commander deck cards. Which I'm very excited, because one of them has wolves. And I love wolves. As you can see by my expertly art school drawn hoodie. You know, I just noticed my neck is really long. I wonder if I could have fixed that. It doesn't matter. I like this model. This model is basically just like what I looked like in middle school. I know, I mean, mostly joking. Partly joking. Partly serious. But, this is basically what I look like when I have long hair. My hair is shorter. But I like the long hair better. Anyways. On to blue, where I'm going to try to skip over some of these common dredge, but there's actually some good commons and uncommons in this set. This dude, ETB, you take initiative. Sure, fine, whatever. Our first blue background commander. And let's surmise if any of the white backgrounds we've come across so far even work with any of these. Elora Merry Thief. She is a halfling rogue who is lockpicking into a window. Just normal adventure things. And she has pigeons. Two and a blue for a 3/2. Whenever you attack, very specifically, doesn't have to be her. Whenever you attack, up to 1 target attacking creature can't be blocked this turn. So you make her a flaming fist for no reason. Flavor Flea, not a flavor fail. They could have been a flaming fist and quit and become a thief. But you make her a flaming fist, and you go in and you hit for 6 because of the double strike. Unblockable. That's interesting, at least. But hang on. The important caveat here is that return that creature to its owner's hand at the beginning of its next end step, if you do that. So, you might not want to have her be the one that is attacking, because that means that's really slow if you do that. That's you play the commander. Yeah? A turn of the table rolls around. Back to your turn. You attack with her, you make her unblockable. It gets through, and at the end of the turn you bounce her to her hand. Another round of the table goes through. And then you see what I mean? You don't want to have it be her you're bouncing unless you have flash in your deck. Unless you have good ways of flashing in your deck or flashing anything. You don't want her to be targeting herself with this. I don't think any of the other backgrounds work either. I think there's a universe where, you know, you attack, you put Far Traveler on her. You attack, you make her unblockable, and you stack the triggers of Far Traveler and her so that she blinks and it forgets that she was there, so she won't bounce herself. I think that's what you do. That would be a good play. I could see that working. And then it leaves it, it also makes it more flexible. You could have, you know, not her attack. You could have something else attack, target that to be unblockable. It's tapped, and then stack the triggers with Far Traveler again and get the thing back untapped. Yeah, that makes more sense. Are any other ones good? Flaming Fist, no, not really, for the reasons described. Noble Heritage, no, not really. Because Allura wants your things to be blinking, or not blinking. Wait, well, yeah. Allura wants your things to be bouncing themselves. So they're going to be losing their counters. So Noble Heritage is kind of a non-bow. Was that all 5? Far Traveler, Veteran Soldier. Would Veteran Soldier be good? Whenever this attack... No, not really. Because you'd have to bounce herself. And that'd be super slow. Far Traveler, Flaming Fist. Inspiring Leader. No, well... In draft, if you're getting a lot of token creators, then Inspiring Leader might be good. Okay. So, if you're... I think that was like a solid 2 minutes of me devolving, like, dissecting how white blue would work for a rogue when probably there's a better black option. But if one were to make this into white blue, I would use Far Traveler. You stack the triggers so that you never lose your creature. And you just keep making a giant thing unblockable, bringing it back untapped. Yeah, that's the way. She's interesting. She's solid. In draft, I don't know if I see a universe where this is okay and constructed. At least not for me. I'm sure someone can break her though. Here's our next big dragon. As you can tell by my name is Hattie Dwago. I love dragons. Dragons are amazing. So Ancient Silver Dragon is very, very good. It is why it is 8 mana. So 8 mana, 8/8. Nice. 8 mana, 8/8. Flyer. Deals combat damage, which all the Ancient Dragons do this. Deals combat damage. Roll a d20. Draw cards equal to whatever you made. Worst case scenario, you draw a card. And that's actually pretty good. But the cherry on top is you have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. You hit with this thing once, you get one of the best effects in the game without having to have, like, the artifact or the land or anything. You hit them, and your hand's fine. It's quite good. I like it. I like this dragon. So yeah, it had to be expensive. Cause, like, imagine this being like 4 mana and getting haste from something and hitting, and you automatically have like a full grip and no max hand size. Hell no, they wouldn't have designed it that way. So yeah, I think this one's pretty solid, and I'm planning on playing or building. Because finally, from this set, and we'll get to her eventually, probably in 2 days. Mirim, the new teamer dragon in the set, is finally a commander that's in my color identity, like my personal color identity, that I actually want to build around. Because, like, there hasn't been one before. Because they're always like, oh, you want to do tricky cascade shenanigans? No, that's too complicated and busted. Do you wanna play that one that's busted and you put +1/+1 counters? No, I don't. Um, even the when was the last time we had a Timur commander? Right. In Ikoria. Oh, did you want to do like crazy nonsense things with this big giant cat thing? Is like kinda, but no. That's a discussion for another day. That, oh man, but Mirim is finally like, I loved wagons, but I don't like build. Here's my thing. I think if you go back into my older videos, I will mention this all the time. I hate building anything that's too mainstream. Like, the closest I'll get is like, yeah, I know Feather is slightly mainstream for Boros, but I like Feather as a character. So that's an exception to the rule. For the most part, I try to build decks because either A, for Commander, that I like the character, or I like whatever effect they're doing. I don't build things because they're powerful. I build things to have fun. Says the Marin deck player. That's a different story. Anyways, I'm gonna build Mirim, and this is going the deck. That's what I wanted to say until I got into a tangent. Ooh, Bane's Contingency. It's a counterspell. No, specifically it is not counterspell. It is, the fuck is that card? Cancel. The cancel. The 1-up mana counterspell. So this is a cancel with upside. If that spell that you're canceling targets a commander you control, instead, you're still canceling it, but you're also scry 2ing and drawing a card. This is fine. This is fine. Does this see play? Not in CDH. I wonder if this. Well, I mean, it doesn't see play in Legacy because it can't. It can't. It's not good in Legacy. No. Maybe. It's a solid maybe. Depends on like how important your commander is to your deck play. Which, yeah, of course, it's commander. Your commander is always important to what your deck is doing. Not necessarily. But if the commander is very, very important, first off, why are you not putting Lightning Greaves on it? And secondly, yes, you play this card. Blur! Great card. Or great spell in D&D. I used, what was it? I had a Pathfinder character, and Pathfinder spells-wise has a lot of, well, everything-wise, has a lot of similarities to D&D. And Mirror Image plus, I think it was Blur? It was either Blur or Blink. That combination was just, no one could hit me. For the squishy characters. Sorry. Real tired. Maybe I'll go through the black cards today too. I'm not sure. Anyways, Blur is Blink. I think it's cards because they already have a card called Blink. So that's funny. So Blur, 2 and a blue, you blink one of your creatures and draw a card. It's good. It's good for limited. It's good in Lulu. It's good in Lulu. Alright. Candlekeep Inspiration. 4 and a blue for a uncommon sorcery. It's a lot of words. Until end of turn, creatures you control have base power toughness XX, where X is the number of cards you own in exile and in your graveyard that are instant, sorcery, and or adventures. So I like the way that it's worded, that, you know, it counts basically everything. And no matter where an adventure card is, so long as it's in exile after having been cast, or if it's in your graveyard after having died as a creature or been discarded, that those still count, because technically those are both. Wait, I just realized that this is actually really good. Wait, Ashley, wait, this is like an well, it's not overrun because it doesn't get trampled, but it's actually pretty good. I would say, this would be a weird balancing act, because this sounds like it would be better in a deck that goes wide, but if you're using a bunch of instants and sorceries, then usually you're not trying to go wide. It's fine. It's interesting. I'm sure there's a way to break it. Please tell me. And here's our first blue background. It is the Candlekeep Sage for 2 and a blue. This is a common. Commander creatures you own have, when this enters or leaves, draw a card. So if you wanted to go mono blue with Allura, then this is fine. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's so bad. That's so bad. What I'm saying here is, so you bring this out first, 2 and a blue, and then you cast Allura, who is also 2 and a blue, and you draw a card. And then the next turn, you attack with Allura, make her unblockable, and she'll bounce herself, and you draw a card. Next turn, 2 and a blue, you cast Allura, and the cycle continues. But that is also limiting you to mono blue, so it's not as great. Oh, Adrian. Oh, shoot. Ashley. Oh. Well, no. It's not better than Far Traveler for Adrian. Why is Far Traveler so good, Ashley? That's the pickup one. Who else I'm thinking about? It would be kind of good for Lulu. Kinda. There's probably another commander later that we're gonna get to that this is gonna bust it wide open. But you know, it's a great card. Don't get me wrong, very, very good. I actually think this might make it into like 99s of strategies for some commander decks, some like partner commander decks. I don't know which ones though, because I don't remember all of them. I don't really care about all of them. I only really cared about partner commanders when I was trying to figure out what 4-color decks I wanted to build. Kona Cold! Another spell from Magic the Gathering, yeah! Yeah! References! I know everything's a reference, but I like the spell references the most. Kona Cold is 3 and a blue. You roll a die, you roll a d20. You tap the worst case scenario, you're tapping all your opponent's creatures. It's unfortunately a sorcery, but that means worst case scenario, you use you're in blue though. Worst case scenario, you're in a go wide deck in blue somehow, and you tap down all your opponent's things and you hit you swing with everything and you win the game. But the other ones are also very spicy. Most often it's going to be tap all creatures your opponents control. Those creatures don't untap during their controller's next untap steps. So if you see something if you're seeing a bunch of really scary boards and you don't want any of them to attack you yet, you tap them all down. And then nat 20, tap all creatures your opponents control. Those creatures don't untap during their controller's next untap steps until your next turn creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped, which is fine. I actually think the nat 20 is good. It's only like slightly better than the non-nat 20. It's okay. Good for draft. Contact other plane, which is a very squarey card. Squarey? Scaley. 3 and a blue, roll a d20. Worst case scenario, it's a worse divination. Or is that just divination? I don't remember. Oh no, well, it's an instant. And divination is a sorcery, so it's automatically better. But it's up-costed. Worst case scenario, draw 2 cards. The usual scenario, you scry 2 and then draw 2 cards. Solid. Nat 20, you scry 3, then draw 3 cards. Nice. Next card. I want 20 of it. I want it so much. I really wished this was one of the rulebook cards because I would have wanted more art of this cute, adorable freaking kitten. I will find a home for this card in one of my decks. So he is 3 in a blue for an adorable cat beast kitten. He's a 2/2. But he's very scaly because he's a displacer beast. If y'all don't know what a displacer beast is, they're basically how do I describe them? They're giant panthers with tentacles on their back, and they like exist but also don't exist. Actually, the flavor text I think describes this. Isn't she the cutest thing you've almost seen? Because the point of a displacer beat, remember Blur, the card from earlier? Blur is basically you yourself are in a blur constantly, so it's hard to tell where you are. Displacers have that just default mode, so it's hard to know where a displacer beast is. This kitten's so adorable though. I haven't even gotten to the effect. I don't care. It's so cute. It's called the Avoidance. It's its ability keyword. Ow, what the hell? I keep thinking I'm getting bitten by something. If there's a mosquito in my room, I'm going to freaking mauled. Anyways, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, off to a good start. Exile up to 1 target non-land permanent you control. Then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Oh no. I have to build a blink deck? I have to build a blink deck! No! I didn't want to. I didn't want to build blink deck, but I have to because this kitten's too cute. So let's think here. Are there blink targets that are not creatures? Because, yeah, probably. This probably works. There's a deck for this card. I will find it. I will probably dedicate a video to it. Who knows? At some point, I do have to dedicate videos to like talking about my actual commander decks, not just rambling on about new cards. Anywho, Draconic Lore. Worst case scenario, it's 6 mana instant for drawing 3 cards, which is bad. It's fine for limited, bad for everything else. Best case scenario, 4 mana for instant speed, draw 3 cards if you have a dragon in play. Maybe? Maybe. This is a maybe. Honestly, it depends on how many small dragons exist now, which is a lot. Like, we have a lot of small dragons now because of these sets, so slot that under might put in my deck. You might put it in your decks too, and actually I wouldn't judge you. It's not that bad. Speaking of small dragons, we have dragon. I need to stop. Dragonborn Looter, our loot of the set. The loot Dwagon. 1 and a blue for 1/2 Dwagon Rogue. It loots. That's it. That's all it does. 1 mana and tap it, draw a card, discard a card. It's good. It's good for draft. It's good for limited. There's already too many good dragons, so I don't know if it goes into my deck. I know it's not going into my friend's dragon deck, but I'm sure there are dragon decks out there that, especially if you're going budget, if you're casual, if you don't care, if you're just there to have fun with your friends, go ahead and play it. It's fine. It's a good card. Dream Fracture. 3 mana for another cancel. Its controller draws a card and you draw a card. No. No, you do not play this card. White is the only color that it's acceptable to. I mean, draft. Yes, you play this. It's fine. Constructed. In the first place, people don't usually play that many counter spells in draft or in constructed. And why would blue want other people to draw cards? No. All right, moving on. Dungeon Delver. All right, another background. One of our uncommon backgrounds. It's commander creatures you own have room abilities that dungeons you own trigger an additional time. I have to find I know there's a few commanders that do care about the dungeons, the going into the initiative, into the dungeon. It'll go on one of those until I find them. I don't know. It theoretically goes into the 99 for the Esper dungeon commander deck, because redundancy is good. There's also the white-blue legend from the main set of Adventures in the Forgotten Realms that, let's see. Hama something. I forget. But she has exactly this effect. So redundancy, giving her this ability twice if she's your commander, or just having both that commander and this card in the Esper deck, solid. It's fine. It's fine. It's a good card. It's a good card if you want to build a dungeon deck. So sure. Elminster Simulacrum. Which, none of this is the definition of simulacrum, I think. Do I care? Oh, I mean, the art, I mean. Like, to me, the art makes no sense to me. I don't really know who Elminster is, so maybe that's part of the lore that I don't know, that his simulacrum is somehow Cloud. I don't know. But anyways, 6 mana for a mythic instant. For each opponent, you create a token that's a copy of up to 1 target creature that player controls. Good. Good card. What deck? A draft, very good. Draft commander, very, very good. Constructed. What deck would have this? For each opponent, you create a token that a copy of up to one target creature that player controls. I think this is fine. If you just want good stuff, big spells, this is fine. Because everyone's going to be playing with good stuff in Commander. And why not have their good stuff? That's it. That's it. It's fine. It's fine. It's a good card. I love the fairy dragons. Oh no. What was that? My stream just like blinked and Oh no. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine. But you know, this guy's okay for the draft. I don't know if he ever goes into a commander deck unless you're really, really wanting. Well, I mean, it's good in the dungeon deck, I guess, because initiative. Yeah, alright. Feywild Visitor. Our next background. 2 in a blue. And, you know, I was about to give this a flavor fail because I saw the wings on the back of the guy. And honestly, I thought this gave flying. But, no, the dude just has the wings of, like, he has dragons hanging out on his back. Those are their wings. Those aren't his wings. Dude? Wait, no. Sorry. All of these backgrounds are meant to be ambiguous, and it's like a self-insert thing. So it's not technically a dude. Unless you're Unless you lived in California and you learned that dude is just another word for a person. Right? I'm looking up something because I do want to end the stream before there's a thing going on. Okay, that was 2 hours ago. So yeah, I think I'm gonna. It did it again. What the hell is that? My internet's usually really good. The fuck? No. I'll wait. I swore. I probably should check. Let's see here. Hold on. Oh, I already had that muted. Hang tight, everyone. I'm going to be checking the actual VOD. No. I'll wait. I swore. I probably should check. I seem to be fine. Hold on. Oh, I already had that muted. Oh yeah, I should probably actually hang tight, everyone. I'm going to be checking the actual VOD. All right, everything seems fine. I don't know why. I don't know why the stream was acting up. Actually, I probably should check. Newbie streamer. Oh god, why is Spotify up? Get out of here. Oh yeah, there's a million tabs on there. That's... Oh god. Wait. Oh. Oh no. I opened VC face multiple times by accident. That's gotta be part of it. Okay. VC face is using 12% of everything. Something. OBS is 4%. Freaking Rosemi. I love those folks at Niji Sanji. They're always so funny. Huh. Well. I mean, I could probably close some windows on my Opera and be fine. Let's get rid of those. Let's get rid of that one. This ought to be fine. Yeah. Hopefully I don't get blink out of existence again. Anyways. Feywild Visitor. This background has your commander creatures you own have whenever one or more non-token creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you create a fairy dragon. It doesn't really work with Adrian. No, well, it doesn't work directly with Adrian. Again, I don't have all the commanders that this can work with memorized yet. This is kind of my way of doing that. Not Adrian, not Lae'zel. It kind of works with Rashad and Bashir, because if you build the deck correctly, even if your opponent blocks. No. Yeah, it could work with Rashad and Bashir because he is so aggressive for a 0/3. And you'd be wanting to build your deck around getting in as much as possible. Some with a bunch of toughness dudes. And actually it says whenever one or more non-token creatures you control deal combat damage. So it doesn't even care that if your commander is the one attacking. And Rashad Basir, at least his more passive ability, is toughness battling. It's okay in Rashad. Lulu? Maybe. Lulu solely because it's easier for her to get in for damage because we're flying. I'm already forgetting some white commanders. I just know it. Lae'zel is the rare. Aileen! Maybe. You'd have to have other non-token creatures be dealing the combat damage. And it creates just one fairy dragon token? Maybe. That's a maybe from me, dog. It's probably better on something else. Font of Magic, another mythic. It's an enchantment. Instant and sorcery spells you cast... it's 3 in blue. That's very important. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each time you've cast a commander from the command zone this game. Oh, man. Let's think about this, right? The lowest mana you could have for a commander in these doesn't specifically have to be these colors. Because the lowest CMC commander you can possibly have that could incorporate these colors is Rogak. Could be paired up with a blue commander and just... yeah. Actually, wait a minute. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each time you've cast a commander. Okay, that... So, sorry, that was just like a bunch of noise effects with no explanation of my mindset. So, this card's good. If you got a smaller commander that is more of a spell slinging deck, then you're able to cast that one commander multiple times and profit real heavily. But I'm thinking of like the partner commanders, because it cares about each time you've cast a commander. Each time you've cast a commander from the command zone specifically. So it's not going to be like, hey, I'm going to cast this thing and bounce it to my hand and then cast it again, and no, that doesn't count. But no, you get like 2 of the cheaper commanders. You just continuously, whenever you can, cast them out. And build stacks on this and get all your instants and sorcery spells to be the cheapest of all hell. I could see that. I could see that happening. It's not something I want to do though. And it's probably not even that busted now that I'm like really thinking about it. But you know, it could be good. It could be really good. Gale, our blue Gale, the water deep prodigy. He 2 and a blue for a 1/3. I just remembered that I should have relearned all the legends pronouns because they all have different pronouns. Confirmed. But it'll be fine. Gale, Waterdeep Prodigy. He's a human wizard 1/3 for 3. Okay stats? Sure. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, you may cast up to 1 target card of the other type from your graveyard. And if a spell cast from your graveyard this way, you would put it into your graveyard instead. Or you would exile it instead. Interesting. Very solid card. Definitely good for draft, where you can focus on getting some of the best instants and sorceries and kind of balance them out. And it is a May ability, so like if you cast an instant and there are no sorceries in your grave, it nombos in that instant, but in the future you're gonna have fun with that. It is an interesting balance that you have to make sure that you have enough instants and sorceries to balance each other out. But if you're a spell slinging deck, that's fairly easy. I don't know if this makes it into the 99 of other decks. I'm not a spell slinger type, honestly. I'm more of a Timmy than I am anything else. Would I... Do we have any backgrounds this works with yet? Not Dungeon Delver, not Feywild. Far Traveler doesn't matter. None of the... Flaming Fist doesn't matter. Veteran Soldier doesn't matter. Noble Heritage? Maybe? I mean, Noble Heritage is probably the best one. If you're doing white-blue with Gale for some reason, you really shouldn't. There's probably going to be a red background that I don't remember that this just breaks with. Or not breaks, but melds really, really well with. But the best white one is probably Noble Heritage, just because you can put counters on him so he dies less often, or counters on something else that's more important, and you get protection from other players, so you can just do your thing. It's fine. It's interesting. Continuing on. His redirection. 3 blue for exile target spell, then roll a d20 and add the mana value of the spell. And yes, this is exile target spell. I think it's pretty much a counter spell without it being a counter spell. Yeah. Exile it just from the stack. It doesn't exist. Didn't exist. Doesn't exist to resolve. Ugh. And I mean, this is also like you exile target spell. I think you can target things on the board. No, I think it's just No, I think it's just things on the stack. Interesting. Anyways, if you roll anywhere between a 1 and a 14, you may cast the exiled card for as long as it remains exiled, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast that spell. But if you roll a 15 plus, which, let's say you nat 1, the mana value of the spell would have to be 14. that's the worst case scenario. So on a nat 1, you're probably not getting it. But let's say 6 is probably like when stuff gets real powerful. So let's say it's 6. 9? You roll a 9 plus 6. You get 15. There we go. You may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost for as long as it remains exiled. Wait. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, I see. Either way, you're just able to cast it whenever the hell you want. The benefit is just casting it for free versus being able to just cast it. It's fine. I kind of like how all of these, I don't know what... Oh, sorry, I probably glitched out there. I still keep thinking I'm getting bitten by stuff. I think I'm just paranoid. Oh god, I didn't even see what that looked like when my model freaked out. You know, this card's fine. This card's good. If you're really in need of, like, removing things from the stack, yeah. Goggles of Night. In the Indian Dungeons and Dragons, these give dark vision. A creep creature deals... When a creep... Yeah, I think I'm going to end it after blue. Can barely speak. Whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, scry 1, then draw a card. It's fine for draft. Not for anything else. Why did they select this as a rulebook card? No, I'm good. I'm good without this. Get out of my face. Grey Harbor Merfolk. No. Wait. Okay. Grey Harbor Merfolk. Can't be blocked. And it's an 0/3. It has +2/+0 as long as you control a commander that's a creature or a planeswalker. So it doesn't count backgrounds. Interesting. It's fine. I would say the commander deck that this would go in. Obviously, this card is going to be bonkers and limited because it's going to be in unblockable 2/3 in most scenarios. But in constructed, it's likely going to go in any deck, any ninja deck. Because even, it's a 0/3, yes, but you can still attack with it. Yeah. And you just ninjutsu out. Hell yeah. Very good. Illithid Harvester. This is the one where I was saying, which card was it? Not Lazelle's. Acrobatics. Cone of Cold, I think it was. Yes, Cone of Cold. Cone of Cold with this, it's ridiculous. So, Illithid Harvester is one of the better adventure cards in this set. Excuse me. 4 and a blue for 4/4 horror, but first, you should plant tadpoles. This is all varying flavor, by the way. Sorcery Adventurer, X blue, tap X target creatures. They don't untap during their controller's next untap step. Which, in Dungeons & Dragons, and also in Baldur's Gate 3, the Illithids are putting tadpoles in your brain, and they get to num on your brain, and then you turn into an Illithid. Ain't that fun? No, it's not. I would hate it. I would hate it so much. As you can see, I've chosen a library as my background. I quite like my brain and its knowledge. Thank you. But the other bit of this is I have to lean in. Nope, I'm not going to pronounce that. When Illithid Harvester enters the battlefield, Turn any number of target tapped non-token creatures face down their 2/2 horrors. It's kind of another variant of removal. And also it says non-token creatures specifically. Very fun. Very, very fun. You're turning all the things that you tapped and put tadpoles into horrors to do all sorts of nonsense with. And then you can, like, use -2/-2 spells, board wipes, or, like, in red, you can burn everything to the ground. It's good. I like it. It's very fun. And Cone and Cold is another one. Like, obviously, plant the tadpoles into this is the game plan, but Cone and Cold helps it. And Moen, Mystic Trickster. A rogue wizard? So she's an arcane trickster. Fantastic. 2 in blue for a 2/3 human rogue wizard. And she has Ward 2, which it does have a reminder text. Whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or an ability an opponent controls, counter it unless that player pays 2. This is kind of the newer variant of having hexproof on something. Like, it's if you want something to have hexproof without it being entirely busted. Alright. At the beginning of your end step, if you have the initiative. We have one. If you have the initiative, draw a card. Draw another card if you've completed a dungeon. Well, there we go. So, this would be kind of bad, because you'd be stuck in one color, but Dungeon Delver on this is pretty good. You get to draw cards, because you're in the dungeon deck. Solid, good, cool, we're moving on. Aernicus, that's what I'm gonna go with. Aernicus's Vile Duplication. Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, except the token has flying. And it isn't legendary if the creature is legendary. That's the best part. Okay. There's a deck I have. This deck is memes. I'm gonna have to make an entire video off of it because, like, I can't describe it in length here. But I really shouldn't. My Yorn deck, my Yorn God of Winter deck, is not what you think it is. It is mostly snow cards, but it also has a sub-theme of all types. And so I've selected a few choice creature types. Basically the deck was my excuse because I wanted to put Seraph, Koma, and Toski all in one deck. And because I've done that, I wanted the deck to care about those 3 creature types, but also more creature types. So I have a bunch of, like, I have at least, like, 1 legendary creature per creature type that the deck cares about. So Koma obviously cares about serpents. But what if I had 2 Komas? Or, Narfi is in the deck as well, because obviously he's snow, but he's also a zombie, which is good for the all-type strategy. What if I had 2 Narfis? Everything's getting swole. Oh god. What if I also have Toxrolls in the deck? Because I happen to pull him. I happen to pull the really nice gray art of him, the horror art of him. Oh my god, what if I had 2 Toxrolls? Oh god. And I ended up this is a one-off because okay, I have to make a video for the Yorn deck specifically. But in the Yorn deck, I decided to put a copy of one of my favorite dragons, is Salumgar Drifting Depth, which he has whenever a dragon attacks, creatures get creatures your opponents control get -1/-1 per dragon attacking, and considering it's an all types deck, that means that every single creature counts as a dragon. Um, and so, like, if I had 2 of those. I just found a new toy. Alright, we're fine. Let's continue. Juvenile Mist Dragon. I hadn't seen this card yet. Holy hell. I thought I saw everything. 3 blue for a dragon 4/3 that flies and is mist. There he is. Confounding Clouds. When Juvenile Mist Dragon enters the battlefield, for each opponent, tap up to 1 target creature the player. Oh, it's a Mega Frostlings. Oh. Very good for limited. Very good for limited. I don't know if this goes into well, I don't. Depends on the dragon deck. If for some mad reason that you're deciding to build blue-green dragons without red, which is now very possible, go for it. I think this is a solid dragon for the blue-green dragon decks. For anything with red, blue, or Teamer, or 5-color, I don't think it makes the cut because there's already so many good dragons. But in draft, absolutely solid. Kenku Artificer. This is a bird that does not fly because Kenku cannot fly. I love it. 2 and a blue for a 1/1 bird artificer. He's just a small guy doing his thing. I love it. When he enters the battlefield, put 3+1/+1 counters on up to 1 target non-artifact creature non-creature artifact. That artifact becomes a 0/0 homunculus artifact creature with flying. And it has 3 counters on it, so it's a 3/3 flyer. Up! Oh! Oh. Ow, this is actually pretty good. We've proven through the test of time that creatures that come in with another body are good. The caveat here is that you have to already have an artifact in play. I could see... Well, no, you don't want to do this because you don't want to lose your soul ring. But you play this, you make your soul ring into a 3/3 flyer. And then your soul ring dies, and you're sad. Draft? Absolutely good. Absolutely great, because the diamonds exist. And you can make a diamond fly. And that's a little less feels bad if a diamond dies than a soul ring or an arcane signet. Yeah, good card. Kindred Discovery. Why do I keep thinking there are things that are attacking me? The fuck? Might have to go out and buy Raid spray. Kindred Discovery. This is a reprint. Good card. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever a creature you control of the chosen type enters the battlefield or attacks, draw a card. Yes, this is in my Yorn deck. Because all types. But this I love the art of this card. There's a heron right here. There's a Kenku mother with a Kenku baby. And this is either a Kenku older brother or father that's kneeling. I can't tell. There's a chicken. There's a dove. There's a bunch of other birds in the background, including a white peacock. Love it. I love it. I love it so much. I would zoom in, but I would mess up my entire resolution of this video. The Lapis Orb of Dragonkind. This is a semi-cycle of orbs that each of them tap for mana, but you get a bonus if you use that mana on a dragon. So, absolutely, I'm putting this in the dragon deck. This taps for blue, since it is blue, and if you cast a dragon using the mana, you scry 2, which is very good. The other 2 are also very good. Well, actually, the green one is probably the worst one, but it's still fine. Oh my god, this art! Modify Memory. This is a 4 and a blue sorcery. Exchange control of 2 target creatures controlled by different players. If you control neither creatures, neither of the creatures draw 3 cards. This is a very interesting card. This is a very, very interesting politic card. I remember back when Commander was first getting product from Wizards, back with Kalia the Vast, which was the big one. And there was also Nandake. Zedru. I forget how you say the rest of his... I don't remember the rest of his name. But Zedru was a commander that cared about... Or is a commander that cares... It's in America colors. And it cares about trading cards with your opponents. And it cares about giving your cards to your opponents to get some forms of benefits. And it was... Oh my god. I remember my local card shop that my best friend used to run. Well, he runs it in Illinois now, but he doesn't... it used to be in Florida. But we ran this tournament where every single player had one of the precons. And, you know, we would play in the pods with the precons. And, you know, you would maybe, like, it would be an hour per game, maybe, because the Ducks were actually pretty solid and we would get games pretty quick. Except somehow there was an entire table that just had 2 Zedru players. So it was just 2 like control adjacent decks taking forever. It took like 3 hours for them to finish. We were just all waiting for them to be done. Ugh. And I think the tournament ended after that. Anyway, I bring that up because Modifying Memory is very politic-y, and it would be very good in a deck like Zedru, or any of the other decks that care about giving your opponent things. So, yeah, it seems very fun. I also like the art a lot. It's just got this cute little kobold in a suit eating a cake after he's messed with some dude to eat a worm. I'm wondering the context of that. Like, did the kobold... My hair clips in my hoodie, I just noticed. Did the kobold enchant the dude to think that he likes to eat worms? Or do you enchant the dude to forget the fact that he was eating a cake? I don't quite know. Moonshade Pixie. This card's fine. This card is probably just limited. It's instant side. You give things flying, and you swing in and you kill them, and then you ETB with the Pixie and draw cards equal to the number of opponents that were dealt damage. It's fine. Mystery Key. It's a way to draw cards. It's fine. Noble Claw Adept. I'm gonna try to go faster because I'm getting a little tired and I'm need more coffee. And probably something to eat soon. Untap 2 other target permanents. Oh, this is... Wait. 3 in a blue, 2/3. Untap 2 other target permanents. Activate only as a sorcery and only once each turn. Oh! Okay. Wait. What? So, you... I wonder... Probably from the way it's worded. You could have 2 of these in play and you can still activate both of them. Because of the wording of it. Probably. That's pretty good, though. If you have 2 of these out, you tap 4 things on an opponent's board and swing in with everything else. For draft. For draft specifically. I don't think this is good in limited. In constructed. Oceanus Dragon. 6 drop 3/5 flying dragon that... Only in draft. Don't put this in constructed deck. I don't think this is good. It goads, but it's not good. Hey. Pseudo Dragon Familiar. There's so many dragons in this set. 2 and a blue for a flying 2/1 that can give something else flying. It's fine. It's a mana sink in draft. I would not put this in any sort of constructed deck otherwise. Second Impetus, it's a reprint of the Impetus cycle. I do not like the Impetus cycle, so I'm going to skip it. Renari! I know her pronouns, I think. I know she is a she. Or was, or she. I was very excited to learn that this was actually an original character created for the set, for the sake of diversity. So, hell yeah. So, Renari, Merchant of Marvels, is a 2/4 Dwagon Artificer. You may cast dragon spells and artifact spells as though they had flash, which is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. This goes in the main deck. I think this goes in the main deck of any dragon deck ever that has blue. Well, dragon deck specifically. I don't think it goes into a deck just because you have a dragon as your commander. Because yeah, this would not be good in my Niv Mizzet deck. Pardon, sorry. But like, in Dragon, 5 color? Hell yeah. Those dragons are already going to be reduced by 2 CMC. Giving them flash as well? Hell yeah. Question is this good for like artifact decks? I think if I keep my Galazeth deck, because I'm contemplating if I want to keep my Galazeth as a separate commander from Miram. But this definitely goes in Galazeth. Does this go in? This is probably too slow for Urza. But that's the next place my mind went. Oof. Yeah, I like this card's good. The background thing, right. Oh. Oof. I had my hands in front of my face and it messed it up. But anywho, there's a couple of green backgrounds that are good with this. Acolyte of Bahamut is the one I want to say that's very dragon focused, but I forget what it does off the top of my head, so I cannot quote. None of the white ones matter for this, and I don't think any of the blue ones so far have mattered for this, so very much we're gonna wait and see with whatever other backgrounds we see, what works with it. Roby the Archmad. I am getting tired. Archmagi. Yes. 2 and a blue for an equipment. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you draw that many cards. And it's equipped 4, or it's equipped 1 if it happens to be a shaman, warlock, or wizard. Spicy. Obviously wizard decks exist. That's probably the best case scenario for this. I'd have to go and do research on other wizard and shaman. I know Marin's a shaman, but this can't go in that deck. That would have been great. I'm kind of sad that it had to be blue, though. It's slightly off flavor for it to be blue. Sag. Because I want to, let's see. So I plan on building my Miram deck to partly be a dragon deck, but also partly be a representation of what my Planeswalker OC would be in the game. And I do already have like a Dungeons and Dragons character planned for that character if I ever decide to do that. And they totally would get the robe of the Archmagi later. Blue is in their identity, so that makes sense. But like, if I wanted to be a warlock, warlocks get a lot of black. Yeah. Well, Shadowblade ain't getting this anytime soon. You don't need to know who that is yet. This is a reprint. It's very good. Lulu likes this card. Lulu likes this card. I don't like the art. I think the art's hilarious, but it's so unsettling. Sailor's Bane is a Dwagon Turtle. A Dwagon Turtle for your Dwagon decks. It has word 4, is a 7/7, 9-drop, unless it costs 1 less to cast for each card you own in exile and in your graveyard. That's an instant, sorcery, or adventure. So we're back on that theme. That's definitely a draft theme. That's blue and... technically the adventure archetype is 3 colors. It's blue, green, and white. But it's center in blue, of course. But, interesting. You go slightly heavy Spellslinger. You get this down as fast as possible. If you're casting a spell per turn, like if you go Ponder, you go, I'm thinking of the first spells that go into my hand. Yeah, you just cast something turn 1, cast something turn 2. It's now a 7-drop. You cast something turn 3. It's a 6-drop. Cast something turn 4. It takes a while, actually. Hold on. Wait. This will take a while to come out. Ugh. Limited, yes. You can probably draft around the archetype and this will be good. But I don't know if it's actually that good otherwise. Sapphire Dwagon. It's a negate. It's a upcosted negate that can also turn into an upcosted dragon that scries. It's fine. Sea Hag. Up to 2 target creatures each get +1/+0 until end of turn and can't be blocked. There's an entire theme of unblockable. This is good for that draft archetype and nowhere else. Oh, actually. The Sea Hag's other side is pretty good too. Enter the battlefield, creatures your opponents control get -4/-0 to end turn. For limited, this card is probably going to be a limited all-star, honestly. Solid choice. Shameless Charlatan is our blue rare background. Commander creatures you own have 2 blue. This creature becomes a copy of another target creature. See, what would I... How... They... I'm trying to think here. The commander creature would keep their name. No, they won't. They become a copy of another target creature. This is another one I need to see the release notes on. Because, I'm wondering, does it stay being your commander if you change it to being a copy of something else? I'm going to assume yes, but that seems weird to me. I guess Sakashima does the same thing, right? The Sakashima from Commander Legends? It does something similar to that? But is that good on anything yet? I mean, if you really want your commander to be something else, and if you happen to have other backgrounds in your main board that give better effects to your commander or something, I don't know. It's a good effect. I just don't know how effective it is in limited, just due to the nature of how the background nonsense works. Stunning Strike. This is a monk ability. 2 and a blue. Flash enchant. Flash makes sense. When ETB... Tap enchanted creature and remove it from combat. Okay. As long as intent... it freezes. There's a lot of that in this set as well. I think this is going to be a fun draft format. So, yeah, Stunning Strike. It does what it says on the tin. It's stunning the creature out of submission. Out of commission. Sword Coast Sailor. This is our Dethrone-esque background. 1 and a blue. Commander creature you own has, whenever this creature attacks a player, if no opponent has more life. Oh, it's actually slightly different than Dethrone. So Dethrone cares about which opponent you're attacking. Whereas all these enchantments so far, or all of this particular cycle of backgrounds, care about just one opponent having... If no opponent has more life than that player. Oh wait, no. It is Dethrone. I'm dumb. Anyways, it makes the creature unblockable. Okay. Let's see here. Rashadun Bashir is probably the most aggressive creature we've had so far that would care about something like this. Any of the other white one? I think Adrian is an interesting case where, like, any of these are fine. Like, Adrian is like, what did we say? It's a 5-drop 4/4, which is already, it's a very well costed creature. So, of course, you want to be kind of aggressive with it. Plus, when Adrian dies, you get all your stuff back. So, any of these ones that care, this card is good. I think this is a good option if none of the other backgrounds you have are good for your commander of choice. Yeah. Yeah, solid. Sword Coast Serpent, who's a serpent dragon. Why? Bounce a card, which is good for saving a creature, but also for getting rid of a threat. It's also good in Lulu. And then later on, you get a big giant beater that can't be blocked as long as you've cast a non-creature spell this turn, which is not hard to do. Tomb of Horrors Adventurer. Wait, I just realized something. Wait. Oh no, the white plume is part of that cycle. Okay. Tomb of Horrors Adventurer. When Tomb of Horrors Adventurer enters the battlefield, you take the initiative. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, copy it. If you've completed a dungeon, copy the spell twice. Nifty. Moving on. Tamora's Invoker, part of the Invoker cycle. It's a limited mana sink. If you're, I don't know if any of the other invokers would be able to do this, but I could see this being in a actual commander deck. Hear me out. I could see this being in something that goes infinite with a lot of mana. So, like, maybe your devoted druid sword. You're going infinite on mana. What do you do with that mana? You can use some of it to draw cards. Draw a bunch of cards. Get more mana. Draw more cards. Get more mana. Draw more cards. Cast more good cards. Stuff like that. The other card from before, the Bane Invoker, that one, it like gave flying and +2/+2, which is fine as a mana sink, but not nearly as good as drawing 2 cards. So, good and limited, or definitely in this draft commander limited, this card is good because mana sinks are good. Um, but I could see this in constructed somewhere, but I don't know if it's good. All right. Val! I have a friend named Valerie. Val Candlekeep Researcher. I forgot what the Candlekeep one from before. Oh, yeah, no, wait. Oh, I just remembered that. Hang on. I'm remembering stuff. She's a 3 and a blue vigilance 2/3. Add an amount of colorless mana equal to her toughness. And this mana can't be spent to cast spells from your hand. This mana can't be spent to cast spells from your hand. So you have to use her as mana for either one of the invokers, or I'm thinking about the draft format first. One of the invokers. What else have we had? We've had the Looter Dragon. We've had. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, they just don't have to be from your hand. You could, this would be good for flashback, actually. You can also, this is good for adventure deck as well. Because, you cast the adventure as on the adventure side, right? Goes to exile. You tap her for 3, and you're already downcasting the creature side because it's in exile, and you're casting it from exile. Okay. This is actually pretty good. This is actually pretty interesting. This is a lot better than I thought. All right. So this might be one of the more interesting ones to build for constructed, actually, because you could do the adventure thing and cast your creatures from exile. You could do the flashback thing and cast your things from your graveyard into exile. You can use this on activated abilities in play. The possibilities are endless, I say. Does it work on any of the backgrounds we have so far? Not really with Fire Traveler, not really with Fire Fist, not really. Well, wait. Hang on. I got the ideas flown. You put Noble Heritage on this one. For sure. Right. Noble Heritage. You put 2+1/+1 counters on her. That means you're going from 3 mana with her for 5 mana with her. And mana is powerful. That's, if you have her in that out, you've got 3 turns until you can tap her. You got 3 turns until you tap her for any of those mana sinks. Interesting. Yeah, I like it. I like that. That sounds fun. Doesn't go well with the veteran. And I'm trying to remember. Flaming Far. Oh, the inspiring leader. No. Interesting. She's very cool. Wait, any of the blue ones? Not Feywild. Ironically, not the Candlekeep one. Not the Dungeon Delver. Not the Sword Coast. Dungeon Feywild, Delver, Charlatan. Oh. She'd actually be kind of good with the Charlatan one, only because she almost makes it free to turn herself into anything else, but then it would be tapped, and then she would be tapped. Interesting. All right, Volo. This is one of only 2 mythic legends in this set. This was a very weird choice. Me and my friend, well, mostly my friend, we were expecting Bahamut to get an actual card in this set, to be like mythic, you know, if I knew about the three dead gods lore, I probably would have upfront been like, hey, that slot that's missing a name, that was probably Bane. I didn't know though. So we thought it was very weird that there was only two mythic legends, and they're both monocolor and no Bahamut. And I'm also wondering what, I don't know if this has been revealed yet, but which legendary creature was Mark Rosewater talking about that everyone was clamoring for? Maybe it was Tasha. I don't know. Anyways. Volo Itinerant Scholar. I'm just now realizing this artwork is POV of the giant from the Volo's Guide to Monsters cover. That's heckin' really good. I love that. Actually, I think I have it right here. I'm gonna blink out of existence, really. There, yeah, I do. Well, y'all can see it. Well, kinda not really. The cover of Volo's Guide to Monster, he's not on the hand of the giant, but it is a frost giant. I think it's that one friendly frost giant from Storm King's Thunder. Nice. Good attention to detail. Excuse me. 2 in a blue for a 2/3 human wizard. Bastard. He's a bit of a coward. I think? It's been a while. When Volo enters the battlefield, create Volo's Journal. Volo's Guide to Monsters. A legendary colorless artifact token with hexproof. Oh. And whenever you cast a creature spell, note one of its creature types that hasn't been noted for this artifact. Wait a minute. Brain is thinking. Do I put this in the all creature types deck? Because I could just like bring out a spreadsheet of like all the creature types that exist, and because each creature I'm casting is all creature types, that obviously I have Maskwood Nexus in the deck, or the deck doesn't work. Dang, I actually kind of need this card. But his ability is for 2 colorless and tap, you draw a card for each creature type noted for a target permanent you control named Volo's Journal. Is that good? Is that good enough in my Yorn deck? Yorn. It could use more card draw. It does care about creature types. I do also need the other Volo in there because that would be hilarious. Volo Itinerant Scholar. I quite like him indeed. In Yorn, specifically. Anything else? I think it's an interesting card. You have to be like, do you have him and the original Volo card in the same deck? Probably. Alright. What background for him, though? Oh, hey, wait. I have to go back and look at Far Traveler real quick. Hang on. Because I'm thinking of something. There it is. At the beginning of, it was just Yorin stepped. Posh. But, you know, that is still a good option, especially for limited. Where, with Volo, if you have it be Far Traveler, this is probably a poor choice because if you're in blue, or if you're in blue and caring about creature types, you probably want to go green because you want as many of the creatures, the spicy creatures as possible that green ends up getting. But with Far Traveler, you get to use his ability on your turn and then blink him back into play, and then use him again at the end of your other opponent's turns. Or one of your other opponent's turns. So that's a solid combination. He doesn't care about attacking, so most of the other white ones don't matter. He doesn't care about tokens, so the other white ones don't matter. Noble heritage is fine, I guess. None of the other blue ones really matter. Yeah, none of the other blue ones really matter for him as much. So, yeah. Volo's interesting. Volo's always interesting. Winter Eladrin. Gust of Wind. ETB. It's good in Lulu. Yo, I'm surprised that there's not a what was it? The Candlekeep one is probably the best background for Lulu. Because I think Lulu counts herself as well. But I don't remember. Well, I mean, no, it can't count. My brain is going chipmunk right now. This card is good. If it had flash, it would be better, but it would probably be an upcosted. Wizards of Thay. It's our only blue Myriad card because they focused Myriad into red-white as an archetype, which makes a lot of sense. But this thing is kind of slightly busted, only slightly. 3 and a blue, 3/3 Myriad. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and then and you may cast sorcery spells as though they had flash. That last bit is always pretty good in a Spellslinger deck. And then Myriad, you go to attack with this thing. All your instants and sorceries now cost 3 less to cast. Solid card. A good thing to try in Spellslinger decks. I want to say that the Conductor blue-red commander would be good with this card, I think. Young Blue Dragon. I'm surprised we didn't get a cycle of these. Like, I was expecting a young white dragon, a young black dragon, but no, we only got the young blue, the young green. Did we even get a young green? We got a young red one. Young Blue Dragon. 4 blue. Sand Augury for 1 and a blue. Is scry 1 and draw a card. Solid. And then he's just a flyer. He's a good limited card. Probably not going to make it in constructed deck. And that's all the blue cards. Oh my god, I'm tired. I'm gonna... Oh no. There we go. That's gonna be it for this video today. I am been yawning my ass off. And also, combination of being tired and yawning and also having an itch in my throat because of talking for too long, because I haven't had a decent conversation with anyone in a good long while. So yeah, work on my vocal range again. Is such like that. Well, tomorrow I'm going to go through the black, the red, the green, maybe more if I feel like it. Because I want to get through all of the cards at least by tomorrow, so that when all the commander cards are dropped, I can deal with those. But Tuesday is likely going to be a Genshin stream, Genshin Impact, because the new update's coming out finally. And so I'm going to go through the story of that, and that'll be fun. That'll be a fun stream. Yeah. Maybe I'll get viewers. So if anyone catches this VOD, thank you for making it this long. If you have any opinions about any of the cards that I talked about, or you're waiting for opinions on other cards for me to talk about, leave a comment below. And yeah, that's it. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Be good. Be chill. Be pog.